back, Ryan.
What's up, Juan? We're here with you a little later than usual on Monday, but we're glad to be here. Hope you all had a lovely Monday so far. Juan, how are you doing today? How was your weekend?
It was a lot better than your weekend, I think. I was getting a little concerned for you there in the Elite Eight town, but, it's all right. We're here now.
The sport of basketball doesn't exist anymore. Everyone should just go to the swamplands and recruit Shrek's kids and just have them stand in the paint and commit 20-second calls, and they don't call that, and just put the ball in the air. I mean, there's nothing to it anymore. I mean, it's just all genetics. So.
And here I thought you were doing a segue into the sport of basketball doesn't exist because it's March to the Madness championship round, but all right.
Yeah, no ogres exist in March to the Madness. Just March Madness. Well, we have some special guests, at least maybe two, at least one. But before we get to that, Juan, let's break down the Final Four and kind of talk about what happened and what led us to what will be Championship Tuesday tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I guess first up, we had the Oklahoma-Idaho rematch after Oklahoma won the wild card. And, wow, I mean, it was a match, to say the least.
Yeah, for a while it looked like Idaho had kind of run out of gas. They beat the Idaho the one time, they beat Oklahoma the one time, and it didn't look like the second one was going to be much of a rematch. But they fooled us. What a match it was the second time. Unfortunately, it's tough to beat Oklahoma even once, let alone twice. So Idaho could not quite get it done, but what an amazing run for the Vandals from Idaho. Can't wait to see what they do next year. And I know Oklahoma is breathing a little sigh of relief as they just got by Idaho the second time. So,
yeah, absolutely. And then moving over, I guess to the Cinderella story continuing, Indiana and Mount Union, Ryan.
Shocker.
What do you think?
I mean, I truly thought they were going to play. I truly did not think they were playing possum. They possum. I mean, they came out of nowhere. I mean, it looked like they were just one of those happy to be there Cinderella stories. Great year. Let's reload for next year. No, an absolute shocker. They did what the Vikings of Salem State did in their Cinderella run, and they took down Indiana in a surprise buzzer beater. So, absolutely. I mean, you can't say enough about the run they've had. And now they get to go up against the powerhouse, Oklahoma. I mean, without further ado, I think we have to introduce our first guest. What do you think, Juan?
Absolutely.
Do you want to do the honors? I know that they're your goal of the year.
Coming from Mount Union, head coach of the Raiders, Jim Crabtree.
And former Rookie of the Year. He was the Rookie of the Year coach last year.
That too. It's Jim.
Hey, guys.
What's going on,
Thank
Jim?
you so much for joining us.
Introduction even had fanfare. I love it.
I wore my SA gear just for you today, Jim. It's kind of like Mount Union colors, right?
I believe so. It's purple and gold. I mean, it's
purple, yeah.
It'll do. Yeah, we're purple and white. Like the purple is.
I got one of the colors for you.
Yeah. Beg pardon?
I got one of the colors for you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, half credit.
That's right.
Well, Jim, as Juan already said, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time, and we appreciate all you've done on this awesome run. I mean, what can you say about the run? I mean, anything kind of I mean, I'm sure you're probably not as shocked as we are to be here, but I'm sure that you're pretty shocked as well.
Affinity for Mount Union and affinity, especially for the Ohio Sigma guys, is higher than ever, and it really doesn't take much to convince our alumni base to support these guys. And over the next, tomorrow, you're going to get to meet some of those guys. I've got some plans coming up with that. So you're going to get to meet some of our guys tomorrow. So that's exciting. We're really excited to show you who we are, who Ohio Sigma is, and how we fit within the realm of the entire national organization.
Oh, you've got some shout outs going on Facebook Live.
That's amazing. These are some of my best guys. I love these guys.
You got more fans than just Juan.
Well, yeah. Juan has been really helpful, consistent. He's always been supporting the little guy. Although I think he had me out in the second round this.
Who's counting?
Maybe. I don't know. Who's to say? Yeah.
It's not a competition. It's fine.
Jim's got the receipts, Juan.
I don't.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah, but it's great. I mean, Ohio Sigma is our Founders Week is this week. Our Founders Day, I think, is Brooke is going to be mad, but I think it's April 4th. But
wow. So this would be a good way to celebrate that, huh?
Oh, I know. Yeah, and I've got some great stuff that I'm going to just promote for our alumni base. But it'll be a little bit too late for this. But maybe I'll figure out a way to work it in. But yeah, so we're this tiny little school. It's like the little engine that could. Like we just keep going. That's sort of what we were doing last year until we faced up with Oklahoma a little bit too early, and we're really glad to be able to push a couple rounds further and show the realm what it is that we do in Ohio.
Jim, I don't know if this will boost attendance numbers quite like making a Sweet 16 run in March to the Madness or in regular March Madness, but I'd say you might have a few more people wanting to go to Mount Union and be SAEs.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, the guys that are there are among the best that I've ever met, and can continue to really further the legacy and the mission of the whole house. So we're very excited about them.
I think you kind of, and you're right. It is April 4th. Our stage man, our producer went and found out the info for you there. So
I appreciate
it. Jim, I think your story is really great, and I think it's kind of inspiring to other teams that maybe aren't quite the size of an Oklahoma or an Indiana to show that really all it takes is a strong captain and strong fellowship and brotherhood, and you too can make this type of run. What would you say has kind of been your favorite thing of being a captain these last few years? Would you say it's just reconnecting with some of the guys and growing your brotherhood with some of the guys you maybe hadn't met?
Yeah, it's really more of the latter. I mean, in this process, I became a little bit closer with one of the guys who was maybe 8 to 10 years ahead of me. So I never really knew him. I met him once at one event, and then he's been really active in this. And I would call him now. I mean, I would always have been able to call him my brother, but now I feel like I can legitimately call him a friend of mine. Had like an hour-long conversation with him on the phone on Founders Day, which I had never spoken to him on the phone at all. I don't like talking on the phone. But then also there's a guy who was a year or two behind me. So we know a couple people in common, maybe like 3 or 4 years behind me. And we've developed a real in-person friendship, which I value very much. But also just seeing the new coming up guys that are in the house now and really representing for all of us.
It's really great. Juan, what kind of questions do you have for Jim and Mount Union?
I didn't know I was supposed to prepare any today, so I feel unprepared. I guess why don't you tell us what you're going to do to the Oklahoma Sooners tomorrow? I guess that's what the question is.
How are you feeling about that tomorrow?
I think it's a little bit different because, especially at this point, because I can appreciate the fact that for the first several rounds of this tournament, only the winners get a kickback for their chapter education fund. But at this one, win or lose, we're getting that. So that's really sort of been the push that we've been making right now. Is I've been reaching out to a lot of people who hopefully are a little bit tired of seeing Oklahoma win every year, 4 out of the 5 years, and maybe this year we can buck that tradition again. But also just reminding people, the high tide raises all ships. So yeah, Mount Union will get 15%, but that other 85%, that's going to everyone else. So that's just where I'm going with that. Is I just really want to emphasize how valuable the contribution is. But if you're gonna make a contribution, you should make it to the guys that are the most like you. Come to Ohio Sigma. We love you guys.
That's a great pitch there, Jim. And I know you guys are going to have many supporters around the realm, maybe not just Ohio Sigma guys like you mentioned. Remember Salem State also in your shoes. The very first year they upset Indiana and then went to face Oklahoma. Unfortunately, they were not enough for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But who's to say Mount Union's not?
Yeah.
You got to remember,
Juan,
Oklahoma's been off a couple tough matches in a row with Idaho twice. So
I know, poor Idaho. Juan, can I get a list of your donors for Salem State?
Definitely. It's
Just
not a
reach out
long
to them.
list, so I could probably text it to you.
Okay, I'll take it.
there you go. I bet you might get a couple takes.
Also, like with the earlier rounds in this match, it's been like a very kind of new school version of playing. So like I watch a lot of Survivor, and if you watch the early seasons of Survivor, they play a certain way. And then the later seasons, can you believe we're on season 46? They play it a very different way. And even the players are like old school, new school. The old school thing is to just pile money all day. And in the new school version, I think if you look closely at the timestamps, all of our rounds we've won in the last 15 seconds. And I think that's something that has upset some other team captains, but at the same time, that's how you get to where you are. Now, the difference is in this round, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So We'll be happy to see any donations anytime. If you're only at your computer at 1:00, you don't have to wait until 8:55. We'll take it. And we'll be really glad to, we'll be very honored to accept anything from anybody else who just sort of thinks that Oklahoma's all played out. I'm tired of seeing them on the front of that trophy. Put them on the side. Okay, is that sassy?
Runner-up does make the trophy as well. So
yeah, and we'll be there, and we'll be really glad to be there. The first school from our province for sure that's been on there, and we're really excited to
Youngstown State finished runner-up before.
Oh, did they? Oh, good for them. Okay.
Also,
Youngstown State, Mark McDonough, Joe Costello. Yeah, these are some of my best guys too.
But maybe you can do what they didn't and actually beat Oklahoma. So
we're trying. We're doing our best.
Jim, I think you're right. I think it's going to be back and forth affair all day. I definitely, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff in the last 10 minutes as there usually is, but I'm sure it's going to be an all-day affair, as you mentioned. Last parting words, either about Mount Union or just maybe encouraging some schools who maybe have never participated in this, how much fun you've had, and try to encourage some new schools to participate starting next year.
Yeah, that would be great. It would be great to see like some new blood in the tournament. I believe the Steve told me, he was like, new blood is really vital to a tournament or a program like this. Fundraising drives. Well, and one of the things that I thought after the first year that I did this, which was just last year, is this is a really good, like from a donation standpoint and from an advancement office, this is a really good like gateway drug to donating to SAE for the rest of your life. It's low stakes, $25. Reminder, if you donate $25 on my team side, and it only works on my team side, is you would get yourself the paper subscription for the record. And a lot of guys that are maybe, and that's not really true, you can donate it on the other side. But if you donated on our side, you heard it from me. But if you, but like a lot of the guys that are maybe like a bit older than mine, my years might just be wondering why they haven't seen the paper copy of the record in so long. And I think that this is a great way to get people back on that list.
Yeah, and also, we lose brothers all the time. People move, as well as we do. Sometimes schools like yours have better data than we do, and obviously we can't get them a record if we don't have updated data. So that's a good reminder if you're watching this and you don't get the record or you don't get any information from SAE, please reach out to Juan or myself. I'm sure Jim would point you in the right place too.
You can reach out to me.
Yeah, we'd be glad to help you.
It's this. Where am I? Over here. It's this at hotmail.com.
There you go.
Email me here and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do.
Perfect. Records will be hitting mailboxes in about a month. Big shout out to our producer, Dave Pascarella, who plays a big part in the record.
Yeah, for sure.
Has done a great job with that. So, Jim, if you don't have any other final words, Juan, do you have anything else for Jim, or we'll let him go? I know he's got some calls to make for tomorrow.
Biggest thank you for everything you've done this year as a team captain. Congratulations once again from a little school to a little school.
Thank you.
Make us all proud.
I think Juan and I can both say that we've really enjoyed having you as part of this tournament and also getting to know you as well. So we really appreciate that.
I appreciate that. I love you guys too. Thank you so much.
All right, Jim. Best of luck tomorrow against Oklahoma.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. I didn't hear from Dave, so I guess Jack wasn't able to join us. I know he had some meetings. That is Oklahoma's captain for for those of you watching and maybe not know Jack, he's been on a couple times before. Also a foundation board member. I think he might be a little nervous about tomorrow, so he might be out trying to recruit a couple bigger donations. So, but we of course appreciate all Jack does as well, and we're sorry that he couldn't join us today. So, Juan, any final thoughts about tomorrow? I know we've talked to Jim, and I know we recapped the last round, but I don't think we've given our thoughts yet. So
yeah, I mean, I think you know where I sit. I always go for the little guy and the underdog here. Are you going to be going for the updog here?
I'm completely unbiased. I just want both teams to have fun.
I was really hoping I would get you to say, "What's up, dog?" And I would be like, "Not much. What's up with you?"
Really going to miss those knee slappers.
Yeah. I mean, it's April 1st, so if I was going to do it, it was going to be today.
I think it's going to be a really great match. I think, a lot of people expect to see, Oklahoma or Texas versus Indiana here or Nebraska. But, of course, Mountain Union, they've proven us wrong every step of the way. And I don't think there's no quitting them now. I mean, they're going to give it their all tomorrow, and it just remains to be seen if it's enough. So
yeah. And, I mean, this is always when Oklahoma shines. I mean, this is when the brothers who have just been waiting all tournament long always come out of the woodwork.
But I feel like they've had a tougher path than years past. Last year they had Texas in the Sweet 16, which they had to go crazy for. But, as far as other matches go, North Dakota always plays them tough. But, they had Idaho, really tough back-to-back matches. But that oil money don't run out, so. I think we're in for a really good match tomorrow, even with the little dog in there, the little train that could, if you will.
Yeah, little engine that could.
Yeah, is that what it is?
I think so. I don't know.
I think I can. Well, it's been a fun season, Juan. I've certainly enjoyed this March to the Madness much more than March Madness this year. It's been a very, very boring tournament. I'm sure our producer Dave can agree with us. He's I think the NIT has been much more enjoyable to watch, but it's been fun nonetheless. And finally, baseball is back going, so I'm ready for the Tennessee Volunteer baseball team to also break my heart in the fashion that only the Vols can do. But I'm excited for tomorrow and Championship Tuesday.
Yep. Absolutely.
Final prediction, Juan, you think Mountain Union pulls it off, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's game day, and Raiders are taking it all.
Raiders are taking it all. The Raiders. All right, well, thanks again for joining us. Reminder, we start tomorrow at the same time as it's been all season or all tournament long, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central. Jim did allude to it earlier, but either win or lose, both teams will be receiving 15% of their donations back to their chapter education fund. And it's been a great run for both teams, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top. Thanks again for Jim for joining us. Sorry to miss Jack. Thanks as always to our amazing producer, David Pasquarello III. And thank you to my wonderful co-host, Juan Faria. I believe we may be with you one more time next week for a recap, so we won't quite say our final goodbyes. I know we've got some fun stuff planned for you for next week, so make sure you tune in.